Welcome to the Deep Dive, your shortcut to getting really informed. We often look at topics that might seem, well, niche, but they actually give amazing insights into bigger global trends.
Exactly.
Today, we're diving into something you probably haven't spent much time thinking about: the global gravity filling machine market.
Doesn't sound thrilling on the surface, maybe?
Hmm.
But wait till you see the number.
Right. And all our insights today are coming straight from the Global Gravity Filling Machine Market Report 2025 by Cognitive Market Research. Pretty comprehensive stuff.
Very detailed.
So, our mission for you today is simple. Pull out the most important bits from this report. We want to understand the key market trends, figure out what's really driving growth here.
Thank giving you that inside track on this slice of industrial tech.
Exactly. But hang on, let's back up. What is a gravity filling machine? And why should you care about its market dynamics?
Good question. Think about liquids that flow easily, things that aren't fizzy, like juice, milk, maybe oils, shampoo.
Yeah.
How do those bottles get filled so accurately on a fast production line? Often it's a gravity filler. It basically uses the liquid's own weight gravity to fill the container just right.
Ah, makes sense. Simple concept, but sounds crucial.
Totally. Their workhorses in food, beverage, pharma, ensuring everything's packaged correctly. Super important for efficiency and consistency.
Got it. Okay, so with that foundation, let's look at the big picture, the overall market size. The report says revenues were around $1.35 billion back in 2021.
Yeah, $1,346.29 million to be precise. And looking ahead, the growth is really solid.
How solid?
Well, it's projected to hit almost $1.7 billion.
Yeah.
Let's say it's $679.1 million by 2025.
Okay, decent jump.
And then looking further out, by 2033, it's expected to reach over $2.6 billion. That's $2,611.88 million.
Wow, okay. That's quite a climb.
It is. And it works out to a compound annual growth rate, the CAGR, of about 5.6, nearly 5.7%, 5.678% to be exact.
Right, and that CAGR, just to remind everyone, it's that smoothed out average growth per year. It gives you a real sense of the long-term trend, not just the yearly bumps.
Exactly. It paints a clearer picture of the steady expansion over time.
So that's a pretty healthy growth path for over a decade. Clearly a sector doing well. But the big question for you listening is, where is this growth really happening, and what's that tell us?
That's where it gets really interesting. The report breaks it down, and some regions are just, well, exploding compared to others. Asia-Pacific, South America, and Africa are really setting the pace.
The fastest growing, you mean?
Definitely. The momentum there is quite striking.
Okay, let's start with the leader then. Asia-Pacific, you said it's number one.
By a fair margin, it pulled in over $534 million in 2021.
$534.477 million.
Got it. And the forecast?
Forecasted to rise to almost $670 million in 2025. And then, get this, over $1 billion by 2033. $176.36 million.
Whoa. Over $1 billion just in that region.
Yeah, and that's growing at a CGR of over 6.1%. 6.132%.
Impressive. So what's behind that surge within Asia-Pacific? Is it everywhere or specific countries? It's a mix, but some are really standing out. China, naturally, has the biggest piece of the pie, about $158 million in 2021, heading towards $300 million by 2033. Steady growth there, around 5.7% CAGR.
Okay, makes sense. Who else?
Japan's also significant, over $105 million in 2021, almost doubling to $196 million by 2033. Similar growth pace to China, about 5.66% CAGR.
Right.
But then you look at India. Wow. It started at $72 million in 2021.
Okay.
And is projected to soar to nearly $165 million by 2033. That's a CAGR of almost 7.3%.
7.278%. That's really motoring.
It really is. And Singapore's right up there, too, maybe even a bit faster. Small base, $20 million in 2021, but growing to $46 million by 2033.
Yeah.
That's over 7.5% CAGR.
7.546%. Remarkable.
And Southeast Asia as a whole region is also posting strong numbers. $55 million up to $123 million, really pushing that average up.
Absolutely. They're key drivers. It points to, well, rapid industrialization, right? Growing middle class, more demand for packaged goods. Makes sense. Any others in APAC worth a quick mention?
Sure. South Korea is going steadily, about 5.2% CAGR, heading towards $77 million. Australia and Taiwan have slower growth, more like 2-3% CAGR, but still part of the overall picture.
Okay, paints a very dynamic picture for Asia-Pacific. Now, what about the other high-growth areas? South America.
Right. South America, another strong performer. It generated nearly $93 million, 92.894M in 2021.
And the projection?
It's expected to more than double, reaching almost $199 million, 198.764M by 2033.
Doubling. Okay. What's the KGR there?
That comes out to about 6.75%. Really solid growth across the board.
And within South America, who leads?
Brazil's the biggest market there. Started around $30 million, expected to hit over $62 million. That's about 6.3% CAGR.
Consistent?
Very. But look at Argentina and Colombia. They're growing even faster. Argentina's CAGR is over 7.5%.
Wow. $12 million up to almost $28 million.
Exactly. And Colombia is similar, over 7.4% CAGR, growing from $8 million to over $18 million.
So again, some countries really accelerating.
Definitely suggests major investments in manufacturing, maybe food processing, beverages.
And others contributing too.
Yep. Peru and Chile show growth, more moderate, around 4.5% CAGR. But the rest of South America category is actually growing quite fast too, around 7% CAGR collectively.
Interesting. So broad growth, but led by Argentina and Colombia. Okay, that leaves Africa. You flagged that one too.
Oh yeah. Africa shows the highest overall CAGR of the regions we've discussed, a stunning 8.97%.
Almost 9%. From what base?
It started smaller, just under $27 million, 26.926 MS in 2021.
Okay.
But it's projected to surge to over $70 million. 70.782 MS by 2033. That high CAGR really compounds over the decade.
That's a huge percentage jump. Where's that coming from within Africa?
Key players are Nigeria and South Africa. Nigeria, starting around $5 million, is expected to hit $13 million. That's an 8.6% EGR.
Okay.
South Africa, a bit larger market, from $9 million to $23 million, almost the exact same CAGR, also around 8.6%.
So strong growth in those two major economies.
Yes, but what's maybe even more telling is the rest of Africa. That segment started at about $12.7 million.
Right.
And is projected to grow to over $34.5 million. The CAGR there is actually the highest of all, over 9.3%.
9.364%. Incredible. So it's not just the big names, it's widespread.
It really seems to be. It suggests, broad industrial development is happening. Could be new trade dynamics, infrastructure improvements, maybe just rising local demand for packaged goods across many parts of the continent.
So pulling back for a second, this picture from Asia Pacific, South America, Africa, it's all about rapid growth, industrialization, catching up perhaps.
I think that's a fair synthesis. It points strongly towards increasing automation and packaging in these, let's call them emerging or rapidly developing economies. Huge demand.
Okay. Now, this is where you said it gets really interesting, comparing this rapid growth to the more established markets,
Right.
North America and Europe.
Exactly. They show a different pattern. Still growing, definitely.
Yeah.
But it's more steady, moderate expansion, mature markets.
Right. So let's look at North America. What are the numbers there?
North America generated almost $388 million, 387.731 memory in 2021. So a larger base than South America or Africa.
Significantly larger, yeah. And the projection.
It's forecasted to grow to over $715 million, 715.394 mem by 2033.
Okay, so still nearly doubling, but over a longer period. What's the CAGR?
The CAGR for North America was just over 5%. 5.072%. Still healthy, but not the explosive rates we saw elsewhere.
And breaking down North America, the U.S. must be the giant share.
Oh, absolutely. The U.S. held about $296 million of that $388 million in 2021. It's projected to rise to over $535 million.
And the U.S. growth rate?
It's a bit below the regional average, actually, about 4.85% CAGR. Steady, but reflects that maturity.
Interesting. What about Canada and Mexico then?
They show stronger growth within the region. Canada started at about $43 million and is expected to more than double to nearly $88 million. Its CAGR is actually over 6%.
6.031%, higher than the U.S.
Yeah. And Mexico is similar. Started around $48 million, projected to hit $92 million, with a CAGR of almost 5.5%. 5.486%.
So while the U.S. is the bulk, the growth momentum seems a bit stronger in Canada and Mexico. Maybe modernization efforts or specific sector growth?
Could be. It suggests more than just replacing old machines. There's likely new capacity or significant upgrades happening there.
Okay, let's cross the Atlantic to Europe. Similar story to North America.
Pretty similar, yes. Steady, mature growth. The European market was valued at just over $250 million. 251.756 emissions in 2021,
Right.
And it's projected to grow to over $467 million, 467.265 minute by 2033.
And the CAGR for Europe overall?
Slightly higher than North America's, actually, about 5.18%.
Okay, 5.179%. And within Europe, how does it break down?
You see stable, moderate growth in the big economies. The UK starting at $27.95, growing to $46.07. That's about 4.2% CAGR. Germany, larger market, 43 M to 75 M, a similar rate, about 4.4% CAGR.
Pretty consistent there.
Yes. But then France stands out. It started at $34 million and is projected to reach almost $70 million. Its TGR is over 6.2%.
6.269%. That's notably higher than the UK or Germany. More dynamic in France, it seems.
It certainly appears so from these figures. Italy also shows decent growth, around 5.7% TGR, $19.07 to $38.07. Russia, similar size to France initially, goes a bit slower, about 4.6% CAGR, 34 members to $59.08. Spain is closer to the UK-Germany rate, about 4.25%, 18 members to $30.06.
And smaller European countries.
Some show quite modest TGRs like Sweden, Denmark, Switzerland, mostly in the 2–4% range.
Yeah.
But interestingly, just like in South America, the rest of Europe category is actually quite strong.
Oh, how strong.
Its CGR is over 6.7%,
Yeah.
6.758%.
Exactly. It hints at pockets of higher growth or maybe new investments scattered across the continent.
Fascinating. Okay, one more region to cover, the Middle East. How does it fit into this picture?
The Middle East market is smaller overall. It was valued at about $52.5 million, 52.505 member in 2021. And the forecast.
Projected to grow to around $83.3 million, 83.319 meters by 2033.
Okay, so growth, but perhaps slower. What's the Kolkamor?
Yeah, it's the slowest of the regions we've looked at. The CAGR is about 3.46%.
Right, and within the Middle East.
Saudi Arabia is the largest market, starting at $19 more cents, growing to $30. But that's only about 3.18% CAGR.
Below the regional average.
Yes. Turkey is even slower, under 3% CAGR, $6.07 to $10.01.
Bro.
The UAE, however, shows a bit more life.
How so?
Its CAGR is over 4.5%, $5.04 to $9.05. Egypt is also around 4%, $4.06 to ventures to $7.08. Qatar is slower again, like Turkey, around 3%.
And the rest of the Middle East.
That segment is growing a little faster than Saudi or Turkey, around 3.6% CAGR, $12 to $19.05.
So overall, a more moderate picture in the Middle East, with maybe the UAE and Egypt showing slightly more momentum.
That seems right. And this pattern, this steady but more moderate growth we see in North America, Europe, and the Middle East, it often just signifies a mature industry. The big expansion phase might be over, and now it's about replacing older machines, efficiency gains, meeting the ongoing needs of established industries.
Less about building brand new factories everywhere, more about optimization and replacement.
Precisely.
Okay, we've gone through a lot of numbers there, region by region. Let's try and connect the dots. What does this all really mean for you listening and maybe for the bigger economic picture?
Well, the main takeaway from the report seems pretty clear and hopefully useful for you. This market for gravity-filling machines, it's definitely expanding globally, no question.
Right. Growth across the board.
But the engine of that growth, the real driving force, is unmistakably coming from Asia, Pacific, South America, and Africa. They're posting the fastest rates, showing rapid industrialization.
Well, more developed market.
Developed markets in Europe and North America are still growing, providing a solid base, but it's that steady, mature expansion we talked about. Consistent demand, but not the same explosive dynamic.
And what's fueling all this growth, both the fast and the steady kind?
The report points to two big things, really. One is just ongoing technological improvements making the machines better, faster, more automated.
Makes sense. Efficiency gains.
Exactly. And the second is just the relentless global demand from those key sectors, food and beverage and pharmaceuticals. People need to eat, drink, and take medicine, and these things increasingly come in packages filled efficiently.
So it's tied to fundamental consumer needs and industrial automation trends.
Absolutely. This isn't just about some obscure machine. It's plugged into how basic goods get produced and delivered globally. Understanding these market shifts tells you where industrial activity is heating up and why. That's the practical value here.
So, boiling it down for you, the global market for these machines is strong and growing. It's really powered by dynamic emerging markets that are industrializing quickly, but it's also sustained by that constant critical need from essential industries everywhere.
Nicely put. And that leads to maybe a final thought, something for you to chew on based on all this.
Okay.
How might these trends, the continuous tech advancements in automation, plus this ever-growing global demand, especially from food, beverage, pharma, how might that not just keep shaping this specific market,
Right.
but also influence wider trends? Think about global supply chain resilience, maybe sustainability in packaging, even the future of manufacturing jobs globally in the next decade or so. It connects to bigger questions.
That's a great point, how the evolution of one type of machine reflects and potentially drives much larger shifts. Lots to think about there.
Definitely.
Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the surprisingly fascinating and clearly significant world of gravity-filling machines.